just want to talk to you about something I feel led to talk about because I think it's something that most of us deal with and or experience, and we don't really know how to deal with it all the time. And um, that is just feeling like we've lost our shine. Um, and I don't mean like our shine that we have for ourselves to glorify ourselves or the way that we look or in a way that brings attention to ourselves. I'm talking about the light that we have because God is in us and because Jesus is in us. Um, every morning I say declarations over my toddler, and one of the things that I say that I declare over him is that people are drawn to him because he has the joy of the Lord, which is the light that people are drawn to. And he does. He's a very happy, joyful little guy. And I know in my walk with God, when I had a radical encounter with the Lord where he just took away all of my shame, all of my feelings of unworthiness, all of my self-hatred. I just had really poor self-esteem, and that was something I had dealt with pretty much my entire life. But I had this amazing encounter with God, and all of that was just immediately gone, washed away, and I could physically feel those chains like fall to the ground. And I was very confident from that point on to talk to people about God, to pray over people, strangers, and I guess some people would put it, I was on fire for the Lord. I'm sure you've heard that. And then I experienced some things that kind of, the way I see it, dulled my shine. And just backing up for a second, if you've known me for a long time, or have been subscribed to my channel, my YouTube channel from the beginning, you know that I used to do videos regularly. I used to do like a video a week. I used to do live videos on my Facebook page, which I still do occasionally, and I'm going to start doing more. But just because of some life changes and situations, I really didn't have time to do those things, but also I felt like my light had dulled. And I don't feel that way anymore. I feel very, very confident. I'm like super confident, not in myself, but in God. And I feel like in the last couple years, I've done a lot of praying because I felt like the things that I know God has spoken over me and has been prophesied over me, and things that he's told me about his calling for my life, and just the vision that he's given me, I had felt like maybe that wasn't going to happen anymore. And I had let things that people said to me and about me kind of just put that doubt in my mind. And I also was physically in a situation where I didn't have time to do the things that I wanted to do. I was working full time, going through a divorce, pregnant. Every day I had to lean on the Lord just to keep my head above water, because it was a very stressful time. And through all of that, I there was a part of me that still wanted to do these things that God has called me to do. But I didn't have time, and so then I felt kind of guilty, but then I also didn't want to do it at the same time because of I just I needed to focus on what I was going through at that time and the path that the Lord was taking me on, and huge, huge life changes in a short amount of time. So once I got to a point where I had time to just breathe, I started to talk to the Lord again, and I told him, like, I just feel like I've lost my shine. I feel like my shine has been dulled. And it was a combination, like I said, of things people have said to me, said about me, um, rumors that have been spread about me, just outrageous stuff, um, just different things that I was walking through. Um, and at the same time, when there was bad stuff going on, I was very happy, um, because I still had faith. I still knew that no matter what happens, God has my back and I'm going to come out, you know, great on the other end. And I have, and I am continuing. And God just continues to bless me and my family. So I feel like a lot of people can relate to having their light being dulled, and by circumstances, by other people, by judgment, by illnesses, by just certain situations. And I just really feel like, I just want to encourage you to just don't let those things bring you down, because when I was walking through the most difficult period of my life, I made sure that I just pressed into the Lord. And some days were very, very hard. A lot of days were very hard, but I still was happy, even though I was crying. I still had hope. I still had joy. And I knew that everything that was coming against me, God would turn around for my good. He can turn curses into blessings. And I've seen that. I've seen all the curses spoken over me, just crazy stuff, like just turn around into a blessing for me and my family. And it's wild to see that play out. And so I also just have been focusing on talking to God lately about what is it that you want me to do? Are these things that you showed me that I did in the past that I actually started to do? Is that still for me? And he's told me, like, yes. And now that I've walked through this season and I'm on the other end of it, I actually have more victory to share and more encouragement just through Christ, not my own strength, to say to someone else who's gone through these things, hey, you can make it through to the other side. Like, he's given me more of a testimony, is what I'm trying to say. I've seen more grace in my life and more blessing. And so, for a while, I felt insecure about myself on the outside and did not really want to do the things that he called me to do again, like videos and live videos and those kinds of things. And so I kind of didn't. And I started doing them again at the beginning of the year, but then I stopped. And I just had to stop being hard on myself. I don't really care about that anymore. So I feel like that's one way the enemy, he tries to dull our shine by getting us to think that we're ugly, or we are too, ugly, or too fat, or too this or too that to do videos or to talk to people. No one's gonna listen. You know what I mean? Like, it's just stupid, ridiculous stuff. The other thing is, when you know what you're called to do, the enemy will do anything to discourage you from doing that. And he will try to dull your shine. So for a long time, I've felt this confidence in myself again from God to do what he's calling me to do, but I haven't been doing it because the enemy has been just making me afraid to do it. And it doesn't even make sense because I'm really confident, especially after going through everything I've gone through in the last couple years. I am so much more confident than before I walked that road and went through the things that I went through. So I am just, one, doing this video because God put it on my heart to do it, and two, as an act of obedience, but three, mostly because I know this applies to so many other people where you feel like you've lost your shine, and you need to just realize you haven't. God still has a plan for you. He still has a purpose. You still have that light in you, and sometimes that light seems like it gets dulled because of other people, because of circumstances, because of the loss of a loved one or an illness, just whatever it may be. Maybe you backslide in your faith. Those things, it's okay. Just give it to the Lord and trust and lean in him, and don't let the enemy use those things to tell you you're not worthy, you're not qualified, you're not enough, because those are all lies from the pit of hell. You know, if you look in the Bible, the people that God used in the Bible are not perfect people. Moses, it said that he had like a stutter or some kind of speech impediment. Think about Noah. He was building a gigantic ark for a flood when it had never even rained on earth before. He looked like crazy, but he did it anyways. Can you imagine all the stuff that people were saying to him and about him? But he did it anyways. He had the faith in God, and he had the confidence in God to do that. Not in his own strength, probably, but through God. So everything that God has is available to us. His characteristics are our characteristics. We can draw on those. We can draw on his confidence, his strength. The Holy Spirit can tell us, speak through us. So I just feel like it's one of the biggest tactics of the enemy is to dull our shine and to get us to not do what God has called us to do, to get us to not share his love, to not share our faith, and really put us in fear, because what a lot of it comes down to is fear of what other people think about us or what other people are going to say. You know, who cares? I've had to learn that. Really, I've had to learn that the hard way. And it just doesn't matter. People can be like, why does she do these stupid videos? Nobody watches them. Why does she write that stupid blog? Nobody reads it. That's fine. They can think that, they can say that. But there is a reason. There is a reason. If one person watches or reads and gets something out of it, fine. That's what it's for. The only person you should worry about is God. And if this is something that you're struggling with, first let's change the word struggle into overcoming. I'm not struggling, I'm overcoming this issue right now. I do want to share with you, I am not done reading it. I just got this on Saturday. My friend Olu wrote this book called Dare to Shine, and it's so good. It's so timely. It's just what I needed. Um, and I highly recommend it. And I met Olu. She lives in Canada. I met her. It was a divine appointment. I met her in Rockwall, Texas. I want to say it was 2018 at a Terry Savelle Foy conference. And we've been friends ever since. And then I think it was like 2 years later, I went back to that same conference again, and she was there. And at that time, I had just written my devotional, so I was able to give her one of my devotionals. But anyways, I do recommend this book, and I will put a link in the description. But just the main point is, don't let anybody dull your shine. Don't let anybody dull your sparkle, because it doesn't matter what other people think. It only matters what God thinks. If you are surrounded by people who are just bringing you down, find some new people. Find some new friends. If it's family, don't, maybe just keep some distance, or don't tell them what your plans are. Don't tell them what your dreams are. Don't tell them what God's telling you to do. Just do it. Just do your thing that God is telling you to do, because we all have a purpose and we all have a reason and a way to shine for God. So I hope this video has helped you or encouraged you in some way. If you have any prayer requests, you can leave them in the comments, or you can private message me. Thank you for watching. Be blessed and live free.